Hey, Mom, do you have some time to talk?
Hello, Karen. I'm with some friends right now. We're having brunch downtown. If it's about some nonsense again, can we talk later?
This is an emergency. I need a little bit of time, please.
Oh boy. Just because you're my daughter-in-law, it doesn't mean you can waste my time anytime you feel like it. I was just having a great time with my friends. You had to go and wreck everything. So, what's this emergency? And please make it quick. My friends are waiting for me.
Yeah, sure thing. I just got a call from my younger brother, who's living with my folks, as you know. He tells me that a real estate agent came to their house to do a survey of our property. Apparently, they were there to get an estimate of the value of the property. My brother had heard nothing about any survey and thought it was strange, so he pressed the real estate guy about who exactly ordered the survey and… well, it turns out that person was you, Mom.
Oh my, did they go and do that survey so soon? I told them to go there during the week when nobody was around. Those real estate guys. I wish they had at least called me in advance.
Huh, right. But did you really ask for this property survey? This isn't some mistake, was it?
No mistake, I ordered that survey. I was just curious how much that property was worth. Did they tell you what the estimate was?
No, they didn't, but what I want to know is why you even asked for that survey. I don't understand why you would need to know how much our property is worth.
Well, you have to know how much it's worth when it comes to sell. I figured that place is worth $200,000 for the property alone. So, how much did they say it was worth?
Huh? We have no intention of selling that property. That's my brother's place now, and they have no plans to sell it. And where did this come from? Why would we even have to sell it?
Come on, Karen. Your folks have already passed away, so I don't see any reason to keep the place, right? Better just to sell it.
Didn't I just say my younger brother and his wife are still living there? Besides, why do you get to decide whether we sell the place or not? You're just my mother-in-law, for God's sake. You didn't even have the courtesy to ask us first, and just went ahead and ordered the survey.
I don't like that tone of voice, Karen. Come to think of it, why do I even have to get your permission to take a survey? We're related. I'm your mother-in-law, and you are my daughter-in-law, which makes us a legitimate family.
What's that got to do with my folks' place?
You are really dense. As the daughter-in-law, your position in this family is way down there. So, that being the case, why do I have to ask your permission about every little thing? I'm tired of you always whining about my decisions. A very disrespectful daughter-in-law, I must say.
I have always been saying this forever, but the only person in the family that's always talking about status is you. Even Robert, your son. He's always saying we're all equal. We all have the same rights. And besides, what's my parents' property have to do with our relationship? This is my family's property and nobody else's, especially you. I don't care if you're my mother-in-law. Basically, you're just a total stranger in my eyes. You have zero rights to that property, and you have zero rights to sell it.
What the hell are you talking about? What my daughter-in-law owns is ours too. We're related. Have you forgotten? I'm free to do whatever I please with our property.
Do you truly believe such twisted logic will pass muster? And what's more, my younger brother inherited the house, so the house and property is his. That property is neither mine nor yours. Even if I sold that house for $1 million, all that goes to is my younger brother. Simple as that.
I went through all that trouble to get a survey of the place and to eventually sell it. So when that house sells, which I'm sure it will sell, well, I get all the money. Simple as that. I'll put the money to good use.
Are you out of your mind? Use your common sense. That is not going to happen.
Out of my mind? How disrespectful! How can you talk to your mother-in-law like that?
You're the one who's being disrespectful. If my folks were still alive, they would call you a lot worse. I mean, think about it. Trying to sell someone else's property? For God's sake! This could be considered a crime.
It wouldn't be a crime simply because it's my property. Oh, that property and that huge house. Way too extravagant for a young couple like your younger brother. They should move out to a small house in the suburbs. I will renovate that house and make way better use of it.
I can't seem to get through to that thick head of yours. I'm really starting to think you're a little funny in the head. No matter how much you whine about it, there is no way you're going to sell that place. You don't even have the rights to it. My brother has the deed to the house and he handles all the issues related to that place.
A deed to the house? So, you people had that hidden from me. From family! I want you to hand that over to me ASAP.
Hand it over? No, why would my brother even think about doing that? How many times do I have to keep repeating myself? No matter what you say, that property will not be sold, and even if it was, the money would definitely not go to you.
You live at my house, and you talk to me like that? That's the thanks I get from you?
Mom, you asked us to live with you. We were planning to rent a place in the city. We got married and you complained that you couldn't live alone, that you were physically unfit to get around. You made all these reasons, pleading and crying, insisting that we live with you. We had no choice but to live with you. Have you already forgotten the spectacle you made? It's a little too early for senility, don't you think?
I really can't believe the despicable tone you're taking with me. It's a daughter-in-law's responsibility to her parents. She should provide all she can for them. It's been true throughout history. If you're not happy about it, feel free to move out. You are not fit to be my daughter-in-law.
Yes, okay, sure. That's fine with me. We'll move out as soon as we can. If that's what you want, don't go crying back to us. I can no longer live with someone with a total lack of common sense.
I'm fine with that too. You're not a part of my family anymore. Good riddance. I'll have Robert find a much better wife. Not a rude and disrespectful person like you. Don't you dare return.
Don't worry, I'll never set foot in that dump again. Good morning, Mother. Just sending a note that we are completely moved out. This is the last time I'll be contacting you, so have a good life. Thanks for letting us stay with you. It was interesting. Goodbye.
Hold it 1 second, Karen.
Huh? Was there something else you wanted to say?
I don't care that you left, but why is Robert's stuff gone too? Where is Robert anyway?
Huh? Robert? Well, he's sitting right next to me. He's unpacking our stuff.
Are you serious? Are you making Robert help with moving? I can't believe you're making my son, the head of the household, do such menial work. Are you out of your mind? You left on your own. What's Robert have to do with this? He's divorced and you continue to make him do your unpacking?
We're not divorced. Robert moved out with me. We're going to be living together as husband and wife just as we had for the past 2 years. Did you really think we got divorced? All we did was change our address. Nothing has changed. We love each other, I assure you.
What? No, that can't be. I told you two to get divorced.
You did tell us to get out, but this is the first time I'm hearing about divorce.
Don't give me that. I want Robert back right away. He's my son.
And he's my husband. And anyway, Robert said that he wants to move out with me. I can't very well refuse. He said he'd rather move out than get a divorce.
You're lying. You would never say such a thing. I know my son. He would choose me over a little tramp like you. He's a kind and gentle soul. He would never hurt his mother. He would never choose you over his beloved mother. Are you nuts?
Well, then I wonder why he's here with me. I mean, I didn't tie him up and haul him over against his will or anything. I showed Robert the line conversation we had the other day. To be honest, he was pretty pissed off. He said you had no common sense, said you were a total nutcase. His words, not mine.
You're making that up. You probably brainwashed him to say that. You're probably holding him against his will. I always thought you were a little convening, no-good woman.
I had nothing to do with it. Robert decided himself. He even found this new apartment for us. I can understand how Robert feels. I mean, if my folks tried to sell your house, Robert would hate me. Oh yeah, and if he ever found out that you were always out drinking, of course, saying it's a brunch date with friends or some such nonsense, man, he would blow his top. You definitely wouldn't see him again.
How do you even know about that? I don't know what you're talking about.
I heard you were out yesterday too. The men's club. Place where all those handsome guys play host to older women.
Huh? Why do you even know about that?
I heard it from your friend from the bridge club. Mrs. Bartlett, was it? She said you and another lady are regular customers of this men's club. I hear you poured quite a lot of money into this place.
Mrs. Bartlett? Why did she tell you? Why do you even know her?
About a week ago, at one of those brunch meetings, she apparently heard you complaining that your daughter-in-law was against selling that property. She was concerned and contacted me. She also told me about the same time she was taken to one of those men's clubs despite saying she had no interest in such things. What's more, she said you were spending an exorbitant amount of money handing out cash like there was no tomorrow.
Well, that was, you know.
I heard it was way more than you could afford. Way more than your monthly pension can cover. Hold it! Did you plan to sell our property so you could continue going to this club? Or maybe you were paying someone in particular that you were lusting after. Or maybe you're in debt to this place. Is that it? Are you up to your ears in debt to a men's club? My God! Wow, if that's the case, you must really be in financial trouble.
So what? What if I am in debt? This is my life. I can go out and do whatever I please. You, of all people, have no right to boss me around. If I'm in financial trouble, well, it's the daughter-in-law's responsibility to help me out. Don't you even understand that?
I'm sorry, but am I hearing you right? Can you differentiate between what's yours and what someone else's? I mean, a kindergarten kid would even know the difference. Well, continue playing your stupid games. Things will catch up to you sooner or later. Hem and haw all you like. We want nothing to do with you.
Huh? What do you mean by that?
We've completely moved out, so that means we won't be paying the utility bills for your place. That also includes living expenses. So you're going to have to go grocery shopping on your own. After all, we're not living there. Why should we pay any of that, right? Oh yeah, that also means you'll have to pay for all of it with your monthly pension. If you continue at this rate, you'll fall deeply into debt. That's a given. Oh wait, you're already deep in debt, aren't you?
Hold on now, Karen. You can't just stop paying all my expenses. There is no way that can be permitted. You're my daughter-in-law. You're married to my son.
Yes, so what? That's just a label, which you seem to use at any time it's convenient for you. Do you really expect us to pay your expenses? And we aren't even living there. Does not make a bit of sense in my opinion, right?
But then how am I going to live from now on? I'm deep in debt. I admit it. As you said, I'm in debt to that club. I just couldn't help myself. I can't pay that back with just my pension. Please, help me out here. What the hell am I supposed to do?
Oh, hey, I have a great idea. Why don't you sell your house? I mean, living in one big house all alone?
Yeah, but, well, actually, this house is in my sister-in-law's name. She has the deeds to the house, so I just can't sell it. My sister-in-law just lets me live here.
Oh my God, really? I had no idea. You were always going on about it being such a wonderful house and that you worked so hard to get it. I figured you owned it outright. I didn't have the faintest. Does that mean you own nothing? Your monthly pension is all you have?
Karen, I won't ask you to come back, but could you send a little, provide a little financial support? Not much, mind you, please. I assure you, I won't go behind your back again to sell that property, so...
Kind of hard to take you seriously after what you pulled. To be honest, we just moved out, so we're a little strapped for cash. So I'm sorry, but helping you is out of the question.
But please, I can't live on just a pension, please.
You dug this hole yourself. I really don't know what to say. You're simply going to have to dig yourself out. Oh God, is it already noon? I'd better get back to unpacking this stuff. Goodbye. After that conversation, my mother-in-law lined me non-stop, but I switched off my phone and just ignored her. Eventually, she just gave up. I heard from Mrs. Bartlett's that my mother-in-law stopped going to the men's club and focused on paying her debts. Apparently, her debts were considerable, and she just couldn't make ends meet. She eventually had to go crying to her sister-in-law. When sister-in-law found out that her debts were from going to some men's club, she really blew her top. She ended up paying off her debts, and then finding my in-law a part-time job to pay her back. Last I heard, she was working day and night to scrape by. As for me, maybe it was because of our no stress-free life. I got pregnant, and we're expecting our first child by the end of the year. I feel a bit sorry for my mother-in-law, so I figured if she is able to pay off all her debts and show some remorse for her actions, then maybe I'll let her see her grandchild. Maybe it will do her a world of good to see her first grandchild.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
Hey sis, long time no see. How many years has it been since you left home now?
Oh, I think I'm about to Oh, hi, Dana.
What's the attitude about all that? Still think you're hot stuff, do you? I'll be telling mom and dad about this.
The old run and tell your parents despite being a grown-ass woman trick. How I haven't missed you.
Oh, what's that? Are you scared? You know you'd be in heaps of trouble if I told mom and dad you were being horrible to me.
You act like you just revealed the mother of all trump cards, but you do realize I left home nearly 10 years ago now, right? Your threats have no power over me.
Huh?
Sure. Back then, I was a naive little kid with no life experience, and I was genuinely struggling with living on my own. The only reason your threats worked with me back then was because I was terrified by the prospect of having to make it completely on my own after mom and dad kicked me out. But luckily, I found a job the week before, which gave me a means of supporting myself. So I vowed to make it on my own without having to rely on my family in the slightest. 10 years down the line, I'm financially independent and happier than I've ever been. You do well to remember I'm not the same vulnerable little girl as I was 10 years ago.
Wow, you're so impressive, Rachel. Would you like a medal? Wait a second. When you say you're financially independent, no way! I'm actually surprised.
Why?
Isn't it obvious? How could a stay-at-home housewife be financially independent? That's not how it works.
Huh? Since when was I a stay-at-home housewife?
It's actually hilarious that you're claiming to be independent when you rely totally on your husband's salary to live. You literally wouldn't have food on the table if not for him. Start making sense, woman. You're cracking me up too much here.
Dana, what are you saying? Are you sure you're not making some kind of misunderstanding?
Huh?
You think I'm a stay-at-home housewife? Husband? Married? Wait, what? You think I'm married?
Well, you aren't?
No, I'm very much not. I can forgive you for misunderstanding since we haven't seen each other in over 10 years, but I'm single.
Whatever, you don't have to try and show off, sis. It really is pathetic how transparent you are. You're wasting your time, because I have incontrovertible proof that you're indeed married.
Huh? Proof?
I'm a little late coming out with this, because you distracted me. But now, on to the season I messaged you in the first place, without further ado.
Damn, you mean you're not done yet? Lord, give me strength. I want to sleep soon, so make it quick, okay?
Then listen and listen good. Now you might want to sit down for this, but you see how it is? I'm pregnant with your husband's baby.
Huh, you're pregnant? With whose kid?
Your husband's, like I said.
But I just told you I'm single, so how is that possible? How can you be pregnant with my husband's kid if he doesn't exist? You're making some kind of mistake here, or maybe you're on drugs?
Drugs? How dare you? I most definitely am not. I'm pregnant, so the proof is right here in my belly.
Maybe you are pregnant, but that doesn't answer my question. Let me ask you once more, how is it possible that you're pregnant with my husband's kid when my husband doesn't exist? I'm single. S-I-N-G-L-E.
And like I told you, your husband's baby is in my belly. B-E-L-L-Y. Do you understand yet? Ugh, you're so dense.
I'm asking you because I don't understand. At the current point in time, I am husbandless. That means he doesn't exist, which means I'm single and that you, my darling, are crazy if you don't give up on whatever this is. I am S-I-N-G-L-E. Even if you are pregnant, which I don't doubt, your nickname did used to be the Village Bike after all, it's not my husband's.
Ugh, good grief. You just do not know when to give up, do you? I understand your heart must be full of negative emotions like frustration, rage, and jealousy right now to see your more beautiful little sister doing so well in life. But you need to be careful not to upset me. I have a little one to think about now, and stress is bad for the baby.
Believe me, there isn't an ounce of frustration, rage, or jealousy towards my imaginary husband's kid in my whole body. I'm just annoyed because I feel like I'm talking to a brick wall. Okay, let's hear it. What's my husband's name?
You actually want me to say it? What a masochist. I guess I'll say it if you really want me to. Your husband's name is Toby.
Toby?
Why would you want to hear me say his name though? Isn't this painful for you? This isn't healthy, sis. So why don't you just stop before you get hurt again?
I'm not hurt, just indescribably confused. Who's Toby?
Huh?
If I recognized the name, I thought I might be able to ask my friends if they knew anything, but I've literally never met anyone called Toby in my entire life.
Huh?
I have no idea what kind of mammoth misunderstanding you're in the grips of here, but I strongly recommend you reinvestigate the identity of the father of your child. Goodbye.
Well, would you look at that? Turns out it was your husband after all. Why did you lie?
Excuse me?
It was Toby. I knew it.
How many times do I have to tell you I don't have a husband?
I hung around outside his house for a little while today because what you said had me so confused, and lo and behold, you come walking out.
Huh?
Which got me thinking, why would you be so desperate to deny it, to the point of telling barefaced lies and claiming you were single? And it finally dawned on me, I think I get it now, because you can't bring yourself to move out of this huge luxury 5-bedroom house after working so hard to move in there with him.
Huh? Luxury 5-bedroom house? I didn't think it was possible, but I'm even more lost than before.
I hate to break this to you, Rachel, but I'm pregnant with your man's baby, which means I'm gonna be moving in so we can live together as a family, which means I'm so sorry, but you've gotta go. So if you don't mind, I need you to accept your fate, accept that your more beautiful sister won, and get out of my house.
But...
The jig is up. You can't bend and distort the truth anymore, because I outsmarted you. I bet you didn't expect me to wait outside his house, did you? I'm a genius. Boom! Divorce him, pack your things, and leave.
For the millionth time, I'm single.
Seriously, are you still playing this game? Even though my clever investigate efforts expose the truth to the light of the day? You know it's a waste of time, Rachel. Why are you doing this? You, seriously, do not know when to give up.
Well, I think you're right when you say the truth has been exposed to the light of day.
And so you admit it then?
I admit nothing.
Huh?
Hey, can you do me a favor? Would you mind putting your lunatic crusade against me on hold for a little while? I need to check something.
Huh? Check something? What is it?
Dana, I finally know who this Toby guy you're convinced is my husband is.
Huh?
I had a sneaking suspicion this might be the case, so I did a few checks. Can you just confirm something for me? That house that you think you saw me coming out of, was it the one recently got built on Apple Lane behind the highway?
Aha, that's right. So you knew exactly what I was talking about all along. Why even bother playing dumb? I get that when you preserve what little of your pride and dignity you have left, but this really would have been easier for everyone if you just admitted it straight away. How tragic! I could already be living my dream life of luxury and glamour as Toby's stay-at-home housewife, barefoot and pregnant in his kitchen, if not for your stubbornness.
It's true, I did have a vague idea of what you might be talking about. But I have a duty of confidentiality that limits what I'm able to discuss due to my job. I am, however, willing to have this discussion within the range of what I just got permission from the boss on. Now, the key point here is that the married couple living in that house have both long been retired.
Huh? Then Toby must be their son.
Wrong. Their only son lives abroad and hasn't been home in a year.
What?
The only reason I go there a couple times a week is for my job as a visiting carer.
Huh? Your job?
That's right. I work for a company that provides care services to the elderly.
Wait a second. This can't be. If what you say is true, then who the hell's kid am I carrying?
Apparently, this Toby you keep mentioning is their personal driver, who also happens to be living on their sofa after falling on hard times.
Their driver?
I've never really spoken to him beyond the basic pleasantries, so I didn't realize who you meant until I stopped and thought about it for a while. Every time you meet him, he has you climb through a window, right? Did you never think that was strange?
No! He told me all the doors were broken. Plus, I thought it would be better that way, since we could get in trouble if you found out what we were doing. I didn't mind climbing through a window if it meant we could be together.
The obvious explanation to anyone with a brain being that he was sneaking you into somewhere you weren't supposed to be, because it wasn't his house.
Seriously? Rachel, what do I do? What do I do? Toby's real wife just sent me a horrible letter demanding compensation.
Huh? Ah, I see. What was it again? He had to move out for a while because their house got flooded, right? There was no more room at her parents' place, so Toby moved in with the Jeffersons. Which is when you got your claws into him and you had your affair.
I had no idea he had a wife.
That's interesting. I got a different impression back when you were bragging about being pregnant with my husband's baby. Not only that, but they had kids, didn't they? Damn it, Dana, what have you done?
If he's not your husband, I don't want him.
Huh?
I only stole him because I thought he was your husband. He's useless to me now. I thought it was so unfair that you got to live in that huge house with him. There was no way I was gonna let you carry on getting away with it. But if he's not your husband, I'm not interested. He's welcome to his wife. I don't care.
Dana, I think it might be a little late for that.
Huh?
I spoke to Mr. Jefferson, the actual owner of the house, who's finally aware of everything that's been going on under his roof now. You announced the pregnancy to Toby at the same time you handed over a signed set of engagement papers and declared your undying love for him, right? This all happened the day after his divorce with his ex-wife was finalized. Of course, because why waste time? Anyways, Mr. Jefferson said he was so ecstatic, he took the marriage papers down to the local office straight away with a smile on his face and a spring in his step.
No way!
Mr. Jefferson also fired Toby as their personal driver as soon as he found out what he'd been doing.
Fired? Why?
Because he betrayed their kindness by sneaking his mistress in through their window to have a sordid affair in the room they invited him to stay in because they felt sorry for him. Mr. Jefferson might be kind, but he doesn't tolerate disrespect. And to be honest, Toby is lucky. He's also ex-military, and his wife tells me he was known to get violent with people back in the day. Oh, and by the way, obviously it wasn't my fault, but the company understood that continuing to work there could be difficult for me, knowing that one half of the disgraced couple was my little sister. So after lengthy talks between me, my boss, and the Jeffersons, out of consideration for me, it was decided that I wouldn't be their designated carer anymore and would go somewhere else.
Oh my!
The result being that I'm now responsible for looking after one of Mr. Jefferson's old friends, who, funnily enough, just so happened to be considering hiring a carer. The company are happy because they gained a handsomely paying new customer, and I get to carry on with my job as a visiting carer in the same capacity as before with a little change of scenery.
This can't be happening. Are you telling me that despite the fact I'm pregnant with some unemployed homeless guy's kid and we're even about to get married, you benefited in some way? I don't understand how you have. But that's what it sounds like, and it's not fair. Not fair!
Are you serious? You don't have a leg to stand on here. None of this would be happening if you hadn't stolen my imaginary husband. Mistaking Toby for the owner of the house, mistaking me for Toby's wife, it could have all been prevented if you'd just done your research properly before charging in with your legs wide open, or at the very least, asking me first. I would have just told you, you know?
But if I'd asked you, there was a chance you might figure out my plan to steal your husband.
That's why your life's at rock bottom, and that's why there's no light at the end of this tunnel. Are you at least self-aware enough to understand you dug your own grave?
No, I can still fix this. I know. I'll give Toby to you.
Huh? You couldn't possibly mean. You want me and Toby to get married and raise the kid currently growing inside your belly together? You couldn't possibly mean that, could you?
That's right. Phew! I'm so glad you understand. Thank you, sis. I was starting to worry there. Okay, well now, you just have to charm him. You can do that, right?
That's definitely not going to happen.
What? Why not? You have a right to protect me. I'm your little sister. That's what sisters do. You should be looking out for me. The only reason you exist in the first place is to help me when I'm in trouble. What's the point in you being around otherwise?
I got married 3 days ago.
Huh?
Me and my boyfriend, a colleague from work who I've been dating for 5 years, went 3 days ago to hand in the marriage registration papers together.
What the hell? You had a boyfriend the whole time?
Yep.
But that means you lied. You said you were single. What am I supposed to do now about my marriage to Toby?
You're the one who married him in the first place, so you could, I don't know, get out of your own mess? None of this has anything to do with me.
But don't you feel bad for me? This is awful. I'm a victim here.
In a sense you are. A victim of yourself. If you want a divorce, then tell him you want a divorce. It's really that simple. The kid you're pregnant with too? Decide what you're gonna do between yourselves. It's time you stop trying to run away from the consequences of your action and faced reality, Dana.
Why won't you help me?
Do I really have to spell it out?
How am I supposed to know if you don't tell me?
Okay, have it your way. Because it's not my problem. It's your mess, and it's up to you to get out of it.
Huh?
Stop trying to pin the blame for your crazy, selfish behavior on other people, and stop trying to escape responsibility for once in your life. Wipe your own ass.
Oh my god.
Goodbye.
No, wait! Don't go! Please, Rachel, I'm begging you!
Later on. You might be wondering what our parents were doing while all this was going on. Apparently, my sister had told them that she'd stolen my rich husband. I don't know what came over them, but they were so excited that they spent a huge chunk of their pension on a celebratory party, thinking Dana would be able to cover it with her new husband's money before long. They started seriously panicking when they realized she'd made a huge misunderstanding the whole time and would never see that money again. By the time Dana and Toby went to take refuge at their place, they were already gone. Why? Because by then, they were knocking on the door of Toby's parents' house. Toby's parents were overjoyed by the news that they'd be getting a grandson, but they were disgusted with their son for having an affair and vowed to instill some morals in him by any means necessary. Last I heard, his dad had him up at 5 a.m. every morning to undergo a rigorous moral education. Apparently, he also works 3 separate jobs now because he's so overwhelmed with debt due to all the compensation he owes his ex-wife, and after being abandoned by all his friends, has no one to turn to. After sending me one last demoralized message, my disgraced younger sister completely vanished, and I never heard from her again. It never should have come to this. My life was meant for the better.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
Ross! Did you go into work on your day off again? Man, you gotta be kidding me. Are the wages at your crummy factory job really that bad? So you gotta keep going in when you should be at home chilling? Sucks to be you! I, on the other hand, am a manager at a world-famous major company, respected and admired by all. I'm so grateful I went to college. Best decision of my life! It's a weird feeling to be so far ahead of my big brother in life, but I guess you get out what you put in, huh? If we're honest, you were basically screwed the moment you decided not to go to college. I mean, who does that these days? Yep, it's factory life for you, now and forever.
Hi, Eric. I see you're being as unpleasant as humanly possible, just like always. You don't mince your words, huh? Things are crazy busy right now because we're going through the busiest period of the year. That's the only reason I came in on my day off. Nothing to do with needing the money. I wanted to help. We may be a small-town factory, but things have been going really well ever since we landed the patent on those new medical devices. Our brand's becoming more well-known by the day. My salary's not exactly shabby.
I see!
Anyway, where do you think the money to put you through college came from in the first place? You think it fell from the sky?
I thought it came from the insurance money from when Mom and Dad died in the car accident. How many times are you gonna ask me the same crap?
Until you understand it, which sadly seems like it could take a while. How many times do I have to tell you the payout from the crash wasn't that big? I tried showing you the insurance documents so it'd finally go into that thick skull of yours, but you didn't even seem interested in looking.
This is why you're poor, big bro. 'Cause you waste all your time doing useless stuff. Looking at a bunch of old documents isn't gonna make me rich, and it's not gonna magically turn you into a college grad.
That's not the point.
You're right. This boring crap ain't why I messaged you in the first place.
Huh? Did you actually want to talk about something?
Alright, so listen to this. You ready to be surprised? Me and Sandra, we're getting married!
Oh, wait, what? That's Sandra? You mean the Sandra from our class at school? The one who people used to say was unobtainable? And out of everyone's league?
Yep, that's her. So you know her then?
Even though you're 10 years younger than me. That's weird. One of my classmates in middle school is related to her. I don't know her myself, though.
I see. Well, if you know her, this should go a lot quicker than I expected. Did you know that her family are the biggest landowners in town? And how it's basically said that they run the place?
I had heard rumors. You know how things get around. I heard that her dad's the head of the family right now. But his health isn't what it used to be, so either Sandra, or whoever Sandra marries, is set to inherit the position and take over as Don. Is that right?
Bingo! I managed to bag myself the daughter of the most powerful family in town! That's why I'm cutting you out of my life!
Excuse me? I'm confused. How are we getting from A to B here? What?
Think about it. Can you imagine how embarrassing it's gonna be for me to explain to my rich new family that my big brother doesn't even have a college degree?
Embarrassing?
Living in poverty and destitution with you was also a big factor in my decision. I've been desperate to get away from all this, and away from you, for a long time now. That's why, as soon as I landed my job, I moved out and got my own place, alone. I just had to get some distance between us before I cracked up.
Living in poverty and destitution? Come on, Eric, that's not fair. Look, I know the period just after Mom and Dad died was rough, but things got better after that. I did my best to give you everything you needed.
Nope! You're missing the point. I'm talking about way before that. Your life was an epic dud at the point you decided not to go to college. That's where me and you, we parted ways, even if we were still together physically. You know, the people you associate with in life are important. Right, bro? We influence each other, and I can't risk being influenced by a loser like you a second longer. My marriage to Sandra will be the beginning of my glamorous new life of celebrity and luxury. I'll be loved, admired, and adored by all. Signing autographs will be a daily occurrence. I can't wait. You're nothing but an eyesore getting in the way of my bright, promising future. Your very existence is jeopardizing my shot at true happiness.
I see. I did kind of get the feeling you were looking down on me for a while now, but I had no idea you hated me this much. Back when Mom and Dad died when you were 5, I did everything I possibly could to make sure you had everything you wanted. I wanted my little brother to be happy.
I never asked for a foster dad, especially not one without a college degree. This could have all been avoided if you just accepted Uncle Jim and his wife's offer to take me in. But you had to be stubborn and turn them down so you could play the hero, didn't you? This is all your fault!
Huh? Uncle Jim? Are you still in contact with Uncle Jim?
Why wouldn't I be? He's the only relative I have left. You make a big song and dance of being the one who got me through school and into college, but in reality, it was thanks to Dad's insurance money, wasn't it? And who told me all about that money? Uncle Jim.
Huh? Is that why you believed everything he said and wouldn't even hear out what I had to say? I told you to stop speaking to him, Eric. All he's ever done is fill your head with convenient lies so he could manipulate you in his own ends when you grew up. How could you see what he's doing? That's why I refused his offer of taking you in. It was never about caring about you or wanting what was best for you. He's a greedy man whose only goal in life is lining his own pockets.
You can say whatever you want. Pretty convenient how he's not here to defend himself, isn't it? It ain't gonna work with me, so you may as well stop wasting your breath.
I see. There was one more thing I wanted to discuss with you about where we go from here. But if you won't listen to a word I've got to say, it's probably a waste of time.
Thank God you understand. It's not just me who thinks so. Uncle Jim said that I'd be better off if I ignored 99.999% of what you said to me, because apparently you're a pathological liar. Now I'm set to marry into major wealth. I have literally zero need for you. So I figure I can finally cut you out of my life for good, like I've been wanting to do for a heckin' long time.
Fine, I get it. Goodbye.
Disappear from my life forever, you poverty-stricken loser!
Hey, Ross, you got a minute?
Good evening, Ginny. How's it going? Is this about what we talked about before?
No, it's about something else this time. Have you heard about your little brother's engagement?
Huh? Oh, that. Sadly, yes, he was bragging about it a few days ago. Oh yeah, I totally forgot. You and Sandra are related, aren't you? I remember hearing that.
Yep, you heard right. We're second cousins. Look, Ross, there's something I think you should know about this engagement.
What is it?
I'm just gonna come straight out with it, no matter how weird it might sound. Your little brother Eric's involved in a plot with your Uncle Jim and his wife.
Huh?
I happened to see Eric drinking with his friends at a local bar. I think he's a regular there. I've seen him a few times before, too, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, it seemed like he was celebrating something, and he got blind drunk. I don't make a habit of eavesdropping on people, but he was so loud I couldn't help it. He said some things. I want to tell you everything, but I'd rather do it in person. Can we schedule a meet sometime? You're free tomorrow afternoon?
Yeah, it's my day off tomorrow. I'll leave the time and place to you.
All right, thanks, Ross. I'll message you tonight with the details as soon as I've decided on somewhere.
Got it.
Thanks for taking the time to meet today, Ross.
Not at all. I should be the one thanking you. I'm so sorry for all the trouble my brother and uncle have caused you.
You haven't done anything wrong, Ross. You don't need to apologize to me. But as for the matter at hand, it seems like the Three Stooges are preparing to put their little plan into action soon.
Right. I'm gonna stick to my guns and keep my distance from them just like I declared back then. There's nothing to gain from associating with people like that.
Good idea. And I couldn't agree more. They're toxic through and through. I think it's for the best. That means we're gonna be speeding up that thing we discussed earlier, okay?
Okay, got it. I'll make my preparations for moving ASAP.
Ross! You know something about this, don't you? Answer me!
What do you want, Eric? I'm pretty sure I remember you cutting me out of your life. Why are you messaging me?
I don't give a crap about that! Don't dodge the question, you chump! My fiancé dumped me because of you!
Huh? You mean marriage with Sandra's off the table now?
That's what I said, isn't it? Ah! I know you know something about this! Come out with it now! What did you do?
Well, you knew it was a tradition in her family for daughters to get their whole inheritance when they marry, right? I wonder if her dumping you had something to do with finding out she had your sights on her money.
What?
Or could it be something to do with how you, Uncle Jim and his wife, are all conspiring behind their backs to use her money to prop up Uncle Jim's failing company? He's been in the red for years now. Everyone knows he's been desperate for someone to bail him out for ages. You realized from an early stage that if you could just worm your way into Sandra's family line of succession like the honorless slug you are, you'd have a shot at that money, right?
Wait, how did you?
They all seem pretty likely candidates as to why you're all alone. What do you think?
What do I think? I think you're gonna pay for this, you big idiot! Ah! Anyway, Sandra was gonna be my wife! What the hell does what I was gonna do with her money have to do with anyone else? Nothing! It would have been my property the moment we tied the knot!
And there we have it, your true intentions.
Huh?
Or your true nature, I should say. I can't help but feel some responsibility for what a reprehensible scumbag you turned into, given I played a pretty major role in bringing you up since you were 5. Where did I go wrong?
Get off your high horse! I don't remember you being my dad! You're just some poverty-stricken loser who never gave me any money!
You have no idea, huh? You still think your college expenses came from some magical never-ending insurance fund, don't you? Well, I've got news for you, boyo.
What? It's the truth, isn't it? That's how I went to college!
You'd have known this if you had any interest in your family. But even while Mom and Dad were still alive, our family never had much money.
Huh?
I'm pretty sure I mentioned this before, but Mom and Dad were employees at Uncle Jim's company. They'd been there close to a decade at the time of the accident. But Uncle Jim, being the stand-up guy he is, used Dad's quiet, conflict-averse personality as an excuse to drop his salary as low as he possibly could, knowing he'd never dare question it. The name on Dad's insurance policy wasn't mine or yours, but Uncle Jim's. What little savings Mom and Dad did have were blown on a huge, unnecessarily extravagant funeral by Uncle Jim, so he could point and say, "Look what I did," while bragging to everyone about what a great send-off had given them. That flashy funeral wasn't just paid for by Mom and Dad's savings either. He also borrowed from some of his friends and refused to pay them back afterwards, leaving them penniless. What the hell? Uncle Jim did all that stuff? If I was older and knew more about the world back then, I would have done whatever I could to stop him. But I was a middle school kid who just lost his parents in a horrific accident. I could barely even process what was going on, so I was in no position to do anything about him. He took everything. Insurance money, Mom and Dad's savings, and even stole from his friends.
Uncle Jim did that?
That's not even the last of it. After that, I caught wind of his plan to take custody of me and you so he could exploit us as free labor at his company one day when we were old enough to start working. Knowing what he was like, I was sure that was his aim, and I was willing to stop at nothing to prevent him getting his way. He'd taken everything by this point. There was no way I was going to let him turn us into slaves. But then you grew up, went out into the world, developed ideas and desires of your own, and, well, you did what you did. I was never going to be able to control you forever, and that's where we are now.
How could this be? No! This can't be happening!
This isn't the first time you've done something like this. The signs have always been there.
Ah!
I should have known back then when you looked down on me and wouldn't listen to a word I said, even back then. And you know what? There was a part of me that had my suspicions, but I didn't accept my own little brother thought so little of me. I mean, who would? Wish I'd noticed sooner, but I deluded myself with a comforting lie.
Ross!
But you're an adult now. It's time for you to decide on your own what kind of life you want to live. For you to make your own mistakes, and to suffer the consequences of them too.
What? On my own?
I won't be there to get you out of trouble anymore, Eric.
Ross! No! Please! Ross! I got fired! Or rather, they're letting me jump on my own before they push me! I just found out that my company and Sandra's dad's company are just about to enter business negotiations to become long-term trading partners! My boss said it would be bad for the company to have someone like me around at such an important time! He basically said if I didn't resign, they'd fire me! I had no choice! I thought you'd come and help me, so I gave all the higher-ups a good verbal dressing down! I really gave him one form, then slammed my resignation papers down on the desk. But, Ross, where did you go? When I asked Mavis, the next-door neighbor, she said she saw you packing your things into a moving van over a week ago! She said you also resigned from the factory in town a few months ago. Like, what the hell? Is it true? You never told me that. Ross, please, I'm begging you. Where did you go? Please respond. Help me. My situation is desperate. I'll do anything. Ross!
After everything that had happened, I decided it would be best for me and my little brother Eric to live apart and lead separate lives. By the way, while all of this had been going on, Ginny invited me to work at the company she and her friends from college had launched together. And with that, I switched jobs and became the head of their Seattle branch, where I played a major supporting role for Ginny. I'm super grateful for her. And honestly, she couldn't have invited me at a better time. I get reports on my brother from my old friends who still live in town from time to time. Apparently, things aren't going so well for him anymore. Last I heard, he was left with no choice but to move in with his Uncle Jim, whose true nature he was now fully aware of, and his wife in their cramped one-bedroom apartment. But Uncle Jim, being Uncle Jim, he was up to his ears in debt after his company finally went bankrupt of years of teetering on the edge. As anyone could have predicted, my little brother Eric was forced to clean up the mess by taking on the debt repayments. How does he come up with the money, you ask? By working 4 jobs, wow! Not only that, but he also owes Sandra a hefty sum in compensation for the attempted inheritance fraud they tried to pull. So he's engaged in the struggle of his life with no light at the end of the tunnel. Do I feel sorry for him? Not one bit. Actions have consequences, and it's time for him to face them like a man. This is the life he chose. As for me, my efforts to forge out a new life for myself are well underway, and I plan to apply forethought and moderation in all things. I'll never be an Eric, and you shouldn't either.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
Hey, Chloe! So, I was just wondering, are you still not home?
Huh? Good evening, Lila. As you know, me and your brother are on our honeymoon right now. We'll be back in 3 days.
3 days, huh? Got it.
Why? What's that about?
Oh, no real reason in particular. I was just curious, that's all. That's all I wanted you for. Bye!
What the hell was that all about?
Hey, Chloe! I just wanted to check something with you. There are no changes to you guys' plan to come back from your honeymoon the day after tomorrow, right?
Huh? Right. No changes to the plan.
You won't be coming home early or anything like that, right? One of you won't be coming home first, right? There's absolutely nothing out of the ordinary, is that correct?
Nope. As long as we don't have any unforeseen circumstances to deal with, everything will be going ahead as planned.
I see, okay.
Lila, why are you asking me these things? I was confused when you asked me yesterday too, but now it's getting even weirder.
Well, I suppose it's not like you can make it home straight away anyways, so I might as well just come out with it.
Come out with what?
So, here's the thing. Me and my husband are living in yours and my brother's new house.
Excuse me?
In actual fact, we moved in and had all of our things carried here in a moving van 5 days before you left for your honeymoon.
What in God's name are you talking about? Stop joking around, Lila. There are all sorts of reasons that's not possible, not least of them security. Even if I humor you for the sake of argument, having your luggage carried in wouldn't have been possible either.
Wrong! They carried it all in without a hitch, even the furniture. The moving company were great. They clearly knew what they were doing. Your new house now belongs to me and my husband. There's no doubt about it.
What the hell? If you're being serious, the security team have let us down big time. I'll be having words.
The house is probably in my brother's name right now, but when you guys get back from your honeymoon, we'd like to go through the necessary procedures to have it switched over to my husband's. Will you pass the message on to my brother?
What are you talking about? Stop messing me around, Lila. Seriously, this can't be true. There are just too many reasons why what you're saying is impossible. There's no way you're living in our house right now. I just don't believe it.
We most definitely are. We already had all our stuff carried in. Plus, we've already been living here 5 days. We live here, so that means it's ours now. Sorry, Chloe. You snooze, you lose.
Lila, I heard you pulled a similar trick ages ago before I met my husband. Back when you both lived together with your parents?
Huh?
Your dad had to leave home for a while due to work, and the moment he left, you moved into his old room and declared it your lawful possession for eternity. Apparently, you could barely contain your excitement at the thought of him coming back to try and get rid of you. Nothing came of it in the end, because you gave up when he came back and you saw how furious he was, saying it was just a practical joke.
Oh, that? That was so fun! My brother has such a good memory.
My husband's telling me I should ignore this because you're probably just being mischievous like you were when you were a kid. But I've gotta admit, you got under my skin with this one. Listen, Lila, I don't know you as well as your brother, and I don't see the funny side of this. I know you might not be my biggest fan, but even for a practical joke, this is going too far. We're in the middle of our honeymoon for crying out loud, which means I'm sorry, but if you'll excuse me, we're going to enjoy the rest of our time together. I won't be replying to any more of your messages while we're away.
Wow.
I'm sorry to have to be a killjoy and rain on your parade, but what you're doing is unacceptable, and I don't see the funny side.
Are you sure that's what you want? If you ignore me, your house is barely going to be recognizable when you get back. Be careful! Me and my husband will have no choice but to enjoy our hobbies to the fullest. Hey, are you ignoring me already? Fine, have it your way. If that's how you're playing this, you leave me with no choice. Such a shame. It's time to make a house a home. Me and my hubby are gonna customize it until it suits our style and tastes perfectly. I hope you're ready for what's coming. Oh! First up, and it moves so bold it would shock an African queen, we painted a huge heart on the outside wall. The wall is white, so the bright red heart really stands out. It's so bold you could see it from a mile off. I think it really makes a statement about who I am. I drew more hearts and stars all over the walls inside the house. I just drew them totally at random as the mood took me. There's actually something so artistic about how all of this is turning out. I should be nominated for a culture award. Who would have thought I was such a talented artist? I found my true calling after all this time. Don't worry though, it's not just pictures. I painted my whole room with a pink and black color scheme, and you wouldn't believe how well they complement each other. My husband decided he wanted a life of luxury, so he's dedicating 2 rooms to his beloved plastic model painting hobby. He's getting them set up as we speak. Thanks for buying us such a good house, Chloe. Thanks for giving it to us as well. We're super grateful. I'm having so much fun. I feel like a little girl again.
Lila, we just got home.
Hey, make sure you don't go entering without permission. This is our house now, you know. I know it might feel strange to you, but you have to respect our boundaries.
But we're already sat in the living room enjoying a cup of coffee.
Huh? What the hell are you talking about? Me and my husband are in the living room drinking beer and watching TV. What a weird thing to make up. Where are you really?
Were you serious about moving into our house? Because I'm starting to think it was all just one big made-up prank. I did think there was some oddly specific stuff in the messages you were sending me, so I asked your mother just in case. And lo and behold, she confirmed you and your husband had been living in a house in the neighborhood until recently. But you moved out, and she didn't know where to, so I thought it might be true.
That's right. Duh, because it is true. Oh dear, you didn't think I was just making it up, did you? As if you'd think I'd really do something like that. This beautiful detached house with a yard belongs to us now. This is what you get for letting your guard down on your honeymoon. It's hardly fair that you and my brother are the only ones who get nice things.
I don't mean it like that. It does seem to be true that you moved into someone's house uninvited, just not ours. If we're being specific, our new house isn't actually a house at all. It's an apartment in a high-risk tower block.
Huh?
Not just that, but they have tighter security than Guantanamo Bay. There's a passcode system and security guards to ensure that only actual residents can enter. There's also a receptionist at the front desk. Me and my husband told the receptionist we'd be leaving for a little while before we went away on our honeymoon, so they'd never let anyone else into our apartment. You wouldn't have gotten in just the 2 of you, let alone had all of your things carried inside by a removal company. If the security guards didn't pick up on it, the cameras would have.
Uh-huh?
We phoned reception to put our minds at rest after your weird messages, and just as we thought, there's nothing out of the ordinary going on with our apartment. Whose house did you guys break into?
Wait a sec. So, let me get this straight. Your new house isn't really a house at all, but an apartment in a high-rise tower block?
Yes, exactly like I just said. How the hell did you get into whoever's house you're in right now? Did you have a key?
I found a key I didn't recognize in Mom's key case when I was over at her place. She was cooking for us in the kitchen, so I thought I may as well have a look through her things. It had the same address I overheard Mom mention on the phone a little while ago engraved into it. Given the timing, I didn't see what it could be other than the key to your new place. So I did what anyone would do and slipped it into my pocket while Mom wasn't looking.
No way! Is it the detached house on the house seating estate 10 minutes walk away from the southern ticket gate at the Apple station? By any chance?
Yes, actually it is. You know what?
Whoa! You've really gone and done it this time.
What do you mean? Gone and done what?
That's the house that your Aunt Kimmy is supposed to be moving into soon.
My Aunt Kimmy? No way! But she's abroad for work right now. How can that be? You're lying.
She's coming back soon because her company retransferred her to a branch in the state, and she bought that house as soon as she heard the news. All procedures regarding the sale and handover are complete, and it's already in her name. She's currently living in a temporary apartment in New York while working at the company branch there to finalize the handover of all the projects she was in charge of abroad. That's why she left the key with her sister, your mom. The plan was to put the finishing touches on her work stuff and then move into her new house and start a new life over here in earnest.
Oh my god.
That conversation you just mentioned overhearing on the phone, I'm guessing that was your mom speaking to your Aunt Kimmy about everything I just told you.
Seriously?
There should have been a mountain of cardboard boxes stacked up in the first room after you enter through the front door. Are they still there? That's all of your Aunt Kimmy's stuff.
Well, we might have sold some of it.
You sold your Aunt Kimmy's stuff?
We found some expensive-looking brand clothing when we were looking through them, and we just did what we thought made the most sense.
What the hell are you playing at, Lila?
What was I supposed to do? I thought it was all yours. Come on, see my side of things. How was it fair for my brother's new wife to have nicer things than me? Anyone would have done the same thing in my situation.
I'm not sure about that, you know. Anyway, you don't have much time. You need to get on the phone to whichever stores you sold your Aunt Kimmy's things to and see if there's any way you can get them back. Hopefully they haven't been sold already. There's a chance you might have to buy them back at a higher price, but it can't be helped. Go, go, go!
What? Buy them back? Oh, it's no good. They sold the last item to someone 10 minutes before I called.
I see. My husband's currently explaining to your Aunt Kimmy what she did over the phone.
Oh my god, what? You told on me? You rat, how could you betray me like this?
Obviously, I told her. You think she doesn't have the right to know about a pair of lunatics breaking into her house and selling her things? I had no choice. Anyway, she wasn't happy. My husband had to keep reminding her he was only the messenger. She says your options are either to pay her one lump sum in compensation or to find exact replacements of every single item you sold and see to it she gets everything back as it was before you interfered.
What?
She says she's going to the house tomorrow to check on the situation. She says you're to stay there until she's seen you both and are absolutely not leaving under any circumstances.
Are you joking? Like hell I'm gonna sit waiting around here for my Aunt Kimmy to come and let me have it. You might not know this, but my Aunt Kimmy is super scary when she gets mad. My whole family walk on eggshells around her because no one wants to get on her bad side.
We had a feeling you might say that, so your mom and dad should be arriving anytime now. They'll be making sure you won't go anywhere. You're now officially under house arrest.
What?
Apparently your husband's parents are on their way too.
Wow, this so cannot be happening. You have to be joking me.
You're making a big mistake if you think you can worm your way out of this one. It's time to face the music, Lila.
You've left me with no choice. Switch to defensive tactics. I'll lock every door in the house and hole myself up in here till they all get bored and give up.
Oh yeah, thanks for the reminder. I forgot to mention, your mom has a spare front door key.
What? No! Why?
Impressive, you're still messaging me?
Why didn't you tell me before it came to this? I never would have done all this if I'd known it was my aunt's house. All you had to do was tell me.
Moving into someone's house without their permission while they're away isn't exactly something normal people do, is it? How exactly was I supposed to know where you were? Seems like you forgot all about the announcement that your Aunt Kimmy's stay in Sweden would be coming to a close. Maybe if you'd have remembered, you could have put two and two together.
No, I didn't forget. I just didn't think she was coming back that soon. Besides, I didn't know anything about her new house.
I see. Still, ignorance is just no justification for the way you've behaved.
Chloe, please.
My husband just messaged your mom explaining how instead of facing responsibility for what you did, you're hiding from them while complaining to me over text.
Hey, wait! Stop it! I found such a good hiding place! Ugh!
It's time to face the music, Lila. Lila's mom asked me if I could buy them some time by keeping her busy while they figure out where she was hiding. I happily obliged and kept her talking to me until the in-laws arrived and occupied Aunt Kimmy's house, after which point they quickly tracked her down and captured her. The next day, a furious Aunt Kimmy arrived accompanied by her lawyer. After an extremely long and tiring discussion, Aunt Kimmy agreed to settle for $75,000 in compensation from the shamed couple for their actions. Of course, that included the cost of the items they sold, but it also covered the cost of repairing the house, which had been left in an abysmal state after being subjected to Lila and her husband's artistic endeavors. Finally, it included a sum to make up or the emotional distress the whole episode has caused. The moment Lila heard the figure, she let out a shrieking scream so piercing it could be said to be heard from outside of the solar system. After that, both her and her husband had no choice but to start working several jobs each. Now, under the strict supervision of her Aunt Kimmy, they led a miserable, soul-crushing existence of being worked to exhaustion on a daily basis to pay off their exorbitant debts.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
Hello, Rita. You there? Hurry up and pick up, would you? Come on, pick up, would you? I don't have all day.
I'm sorry, Mother. I was just doing the laundry. Is there something I can help you with?
You're always way too slow, Rita. How many times have I told you to answer me on the first call? I told you to keep your mother-in-law's line a priority. I don't have all day to wait for you to reply, for God's sake.
Yes, ma'am. I'm really sorry about that. Like I said, I was doing the laundry, and I also left my smartphone in my bag and didn't notice that you had texted me, and...
Yeah, I don't want to hear your usual excuses. Just be more careful next time. Keep the phone in your back pocket or something. Use your head.
Right. I'll keep that in mind. So, what can I do for you, Mother?
I want you to come over to my place, right now.
Right now? You want me to go over to your place?
I want you to clean the stairs. It's gotten a bit dusty and I don't want to slip on it. Plus my back is killing me and I don't want it to get worse. So I want you to come over here and clean it up.
Mother, have you forgotten? You do remember that I sprained my ankle the other day while cleaning your windows. You know, slipped off that old ladder?
Oh, really? Did you? Wasn't that like a year ago?
It was 2 days ago, Mother. How could you forget that?
Anyways, what's a little sprain? You're making a big thing out of nothing. Cleaning the stairs doesn't require you to climb up a ladder. A little ankle sprain won't be a bother.
Actually, it swelled up quite a bit. The doctor said I shouldn't put pressure on it for a few days. Besides, with you nearby, I really worried what you might do.
Huh? What are you trying to imply?
I can't believe you already forgot, Mother. I was carrying that big jug of laundry detergent up the stairs when you came up behind me and bumped me out of the way. I just about tumbled down those stairs. I was able to catch my balance just in time. If I had this sprained ankle then, I would have ended up at the bottom of those stairs. So, no way I'm taking a chance in this condition. To be honest, I'm frightened that I might get injured.
That was totally your fault. You were climbing those stairs right when I was super busy. You're always so slow. I'm really offended that you would blame me for your ineptness.
I can't trust someone who simply shrugs and casually brushes aside what could have been a serious injury. All you said was, "Oh, sorry about that." You showed zero remorse. I don't feel comfortable working around you. There, I said it.
My, being a little rude this morning. I can't believe I'm stuck with such an ill-mannered daughter-in-law.
I don't plan to be your maid who jumps whenever you come calling. So, yeah, you can call me ill-mannered or smart alecky or whatever you want. Be my guest.
I cannot believe you, Rita. I never expected such a crass daughter-in-law. What was my son thinking, marrying you? Such an insolent woman. I never should have consented to this marriage. I really should have gone with my instincts. But there's no turning back now. I'm going to teach you a little about being a proper daughter-in-law. I'm headed over there right now. Get ready for some real training. I'll make you into a well-mannered daughter-in-law, so help me God.
You can come over if you like, but I won't be here.
Huh? What do you mean you won't be there?
I won't be there because I'm not living there anymore. I moved out.
What do you mean you moved? Oh, wait. I get it. So it finally came down to this. I see. Kevin finally had enough of you. Well, I don't blame him.
Huh? What are you talking about?
No need to ask me. I'm all for you guys getting divorced. I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner. But I will tell you right now, I will not give up little Dave. He's my precious little grandson. He's not going anywhere. Unlike her mother, he's an angel, the future head of our household. I'll bring him up myself. I'll take care of him as if he were my very own son.
Right. I'm afraid you got it all wrong, Mother. You really do have your head in the clouds. For your information, we all moved away, Kevin and Dave included.
Huh? What are you saying?
Well, it seems your son, Kevin, has had it with your mistreatment of me. No matter how many times he has warned you about it, you failed to heed his warnings. It just so happened that his company was looking for someone to work on the East Coast, and he grabbed at the chance. And Dave just finished junior high. It'll be a good chance for him to continue high school in a new location, make new friends. It'll be a wonderful change for him. We're even thinking about buying a house there. It's a very nice area. Bit cold in the winter, but a beautiful neighborhood.
What? Are you out of your mind? Do you really think I will allow this? Well, I'm not.
I don't think you have any right to say that after how you treated me over the years. I am so relieved to be free of your bullying. Goodbye.
If that's the case, I will move to the East Coast too, wherever that may be. I'll sell this place and move in with you.
Sorry, we have no intention of telling you where we live.
Just tell me the address right now.
Sorry, can't do that. Sorry, goodbye.
Hello, Rita. I finally found you guys. It looks like you're all out this morning. Family outing or something? Nice house. When you get back, I'll start on that daughter-in-law etiquette training we talked about. Marine boot camp will seem like a day in the park after I'm done with you.
Mother? What's this all about? What's wrong with you?
Oh, Rita, welcome back. I was waiting for you.
Cut the crap, Mother. What are you doing barricading yourself in one of our rooms? Are you out of your mind?
I take it you read that letter I left on the living room table.
That's why I'm texting you. Just cut this crap and come out of that room right away.
Not until you agree to my terms. I'm not coming out of here until then. I will resist you for however long it takes. I've got enough rations to last me a month.
If you mean you want to live with us, that's not going to happen. How did you find out where we lived anyways? I didn't tell anyone where we moved to, except for my folks and your husband.
Well, there was a key on my husband's keychain, one I hadn't seen before. Figured it was yours. As for finding out this address, I stalked out your parents' place for days until one day I lucked out. Actually, it was what I was waiting for.
What do you mean, lucked out? What are you talking about?
Did you recently send a small package to your parents?
You're kidding me. Did you steal our mail?
Please, I'm not a thief. All I did was take a look in the mailbox, used my smartphone to snap a picture of the address label. I didn't take anything. I put the package right back where I found it.
What the hell are you doing? You've totally lost it.
You took my grandson away from me. It's not normal. A grandmother should be able to see her grandson anytime she wants. That's the way it just is.
You belong in a mental facility. This is not normal. I'm going to call the police. Just come out of that room right away.
Oh yes, this room, it must be yours by the looks of it. You really have horrendous taste.
What?
This room looks like it's used by a 6-year-old. So messy, clothes strewn about everywhere, snacks everywhere. Besides, a housewife does not need her own room. A wife sleeps with her husband. Therefore, this room shall be mine. And all the stuff in this room, all these posters and plastic models, oh yeah, and all those comics and DVDs in the closet, I put all that junk into a garbage bag and took it out by the side of the road this morning. I'm sure it's all gone by now. And good riddance.
You must be kidding. Tell me you're kidding.
I'm not kidding. Why would I kid about that? That's just an awful hobby of yours. Comics and DVDs. What are you, a teenage juvenile? You're a married woman with a child. This kind of infatuation with comics and DVDs, it just doesn't set a good example for my grandson. Well, think of this as the first step in your training, getting rid of all this junk.
Dave is with me right now. He's seething with anger.
Huh? What do you mean?
Grandma? This is Dave.
Oh, Dave, my dear grandson, I'm so sorry to barge in like I did. I had no other choice. I wanted to see you so badly. I hope you understand. Your mother was so against me living with you. I really had no choice. But you don't have to worry anymore. You can now live with your grandma as you've always wanted. I can't believe that your mother would prevent you from seeing me. Anyway, let's put all that aside and have a nice comfortable life with me and Grandpa.
Is it true that you got rid of all the stuff in that room?
Yes, that's right, I did. Your mother is just unbelievable. I had no idea that she had such a reprehensible hobby. I mean, at her age? Please. She's a mother for God's sake, and I also can't see where she finds the time to have such a hobby. No wonder she never does anything properly. But all in all, it turned out okay. I'm just glad it didn't influence you negatively, now that I'm here.
Are you finished, Grandma? That room you're in? That's my room.
Huh? You mean, this is your room?
Are you serious about what you said? That you threw out all my stuff? The comics and figures that I took years to collect? My DVDs too? Please say it's not true.
This is your Dave's room? Not your mom's? Wait a second.
I would think it would be obvious. Any normal person would immediately realize it's a kid's room. What's wrong with you, Grandma? So let me ask you one more time. Did you seriously throw that stuff out?
Hold on a second. I was just, but your room is upstairs, I thought.
Mom and Dad use those rooms for their remote work. The Wi-Fi router is up there. They have better reception. My room's on the first floor.
Dave, don't worry. You really don't have to cover for your mother. The children usually have rooms on the second floor.
Like I said, my room's on the first floor.
Huh?
That room is next to the garage and the front driveway. You probably don't even know this, but I'm on the school basketball team. Actually, it was comics that got me interested in it. I wanted my room on the first floor so I could get out and shoot hoops whenever I wanted. Mom and Dad agreed.
Comics got you interested in basketball? So does that mean that those magazines and DVDs...
Like I've been saying, the room you barged into, that's my room. That stuff you threw out, that's all mine. My precious treasure that I've been collecting since I was in elementary school. How could you do that?
Huh? That can't be.
I want it back. I want all of it back. I bought all of that myself. I saved my allowance and bought all those things. And since getting into high school, I saved up money from my part-time job. And those comics, they're worth a fortune. I worked hard to get those. Some of them were super rare. Mom and Dad bought me some of that stuff for my birthday, too.
Huh? Please, Dave, I didn't mean to.
I want all of it back now! Right now!
But Dave, this kind of hobby, comics and all, it's all for geeks. You never get a proper girlfriend.
Are you serious?
That's right. Just think of this as a good opportunity. An opportunity to start a new and grown-up life. Would you say?
What's that got to do with you throwing out all of my valuable possessions? And what's so bad about being a geek? All these recent tech guys were all geeks, even Bill Gates. Besides, how could you be so stupid as to confuse my room with my mom's? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard someone do!
Well, to know.
And about having a girlfriend, I'm already seeing someone.
Huh? You already have a girlfriend?
And it's none of your business whether I have a girlfriend or not. What's more, why don't you apologize? You don't even feel remorse for what you did. That's common sense, isn't it? You do something wrong, you apologize. Didn't they teach you that in school? Or does not apologizing mean you're going to get all my stuff back? Is that it?
Well, I can't.
I want it all back. Do you hear me? I want it all back.
Dave, listen.
I hate you, Grandma.
Huh?
I hate the way you treat Mom. You treat her like a slave. How could you be so cruel? I never liked how you treated her, but you did it this time. I couldn't sit back and watch you treat Mom like that any longer. Get the hell out of our house! I never want to see you again!
But Dave, please calm down. Let's talk directly and work things out. What'd you say?
I'm texting you online because I don't want to see your face. Don't you even get that?
Please, Dave. You're my grandson. My precious grandson would never talk to me like that.
Just get the hell out of our house!
Dave was so angry he could not stop texting her. I had to calm him down and pry his fingers off his smartphone. As I was doing so, my mother-in-law came sulking out of Dave's room. Right about then, my husband came home from work. My mother-in-law figured she had him on her side and quickly regained her composure and her confidence, but the look on my husband's face was not of pity, but of anger. He reprimanded her for her despicable behavior and her treatment of me. My husband dragged her out of the house and into his car and back home. About Dave's valuable collection, that amounted to an astonishing $8,000 due to some extremely rare comics and figures. Fortunately, he was able to get some of the items back before they were destroyed. My father-in-law paid for the damages, but insisted that she work to pay him back. Well, my mother-in-law finally realized that she treated me wrongly. I hear she's working at her part-time job every day to pay back her debts. Maybe she's finally learned her lesson.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.